welcome back to Golf Shenanigans. If you've seen any of our videos, you'll see me do a lot of this. So I thought I'd do something about it. I enrolled in Paul Uliberry's Power Disc Golf Academy, and I've been doing it for a month. So let's see the results and roll the tunes. So I've got two goals with Power Disc Golf Academy. My main goal is to improve my putting consistency, and a side goal, which is a nice to have, is to improve my distance, mainly my backhand. Now, I want to make this fairly scientific, so I'm going to set a baseline for my putts and my drives. Now, you may have noticed in the background I'm doing putts from various distances with my old style of putting. So I'm doing 100 putts with 10 from 10 different distances. So let's check out the stats. Really not ideal, and it's one of the reasons I wanted to try out Power Disc Golf Academy, because my putting recently has felt absolutely whack. Having no confidence in C1 is really not great. I really should be making most of the 10 to 20 footers every single time. And outside C1, I'm just not confident I'm even giving it a chance to go in the basket. And you can see there, 37 out of 100 putts ain't great. So hopefully some of the tips from Power Disc Golf Academy can help that. So moving on to backhands, I had a few goes at trying to hit my maximum distance, and I hit 381 feet, which in all fairness isn't that bad. But last year I was able to hit 450 at a push on a similar line, so it'd be nice to be able to get back to that distance. Now, whilst this isn't my main goal, adding a couple of tweaks to my backhand form isn't such a bad thing. Now, let's watch that again in slow motion. On the whole, not too shabby. Nice and smooth, and the timing's not too bad. A little bit early, but not horrendous. So the main thing I picked out is a very weak brace. You can see not a very straight leg, my torso is well over my front foot, and if you keep moving a few more frames, my weight is so far forward. So a couple of tips I took straight from Power Disc Golf Academy. Brace with a straighter leg / torso, and one I didn't touch on before, keeping on your toes more in the X step. Makes you nice and light and stops you losing lots of energy in the X step. So for consistency, here's my forehand. Not that we're going to work on it, and not that it's very good to be honest, but I thought I'd show it as I may work on it in the future. So let's get into putting tips. I'm following Paul Uliberry's spin putt tutorial, and it breaks down everything about the spin putt. Now, I'm starting from scratch, as I'm traditionally more of a spush putter. I like to think somewhat like Alan Burr, where I'm coming from the hip and pulling forward with my elbow. Now, I get a lot of power this way, but my accuracy is not very good. So the first thing I sorted out was my stance, going from my back foot on the right to more left or in line with my front foot. Now, Uli still teaches to go sideways on. Aim with your shoulder, and it takes out the right side of the basket. Now, the biggest thing for me was pointing your fingers away from the target, which means you naturally create that spin. Also mentally, thinking of it as a pull rather than a push, that also helped. And finally, a nice equal firm grip. I was noticing a lot of the putts I was missing was when my grip didn't feel consistent. So to recap the putting tips I'm trying, move the back foot in line / to the left of the front foot, aim with your shoulder, put your fingers away for natural spin, pull rather than a push, and a firm equal grip. Innuendo not intended. So over the course of about a month, I tried to implement these tips. It was going great to start with. My putts were feeling excellent, my drives were feeling way more snappy, and getting a lot more power with seemingly less effort. And then I played a tournament. Now, it may be because I'm making form changes and putting changes halfway through a season, but it was awful. I wasn't making any small putts, and my drives were feeling really inaccurate. So this scared me. I had nationals coming up 2 weeks after this, and it's not appealing to be in a spot when you're working on putting and working on drives, and neither of them are feeling great. So I kept trying to analyse my form, analyse my putts. The problem was I wasn't committing to any specific changes. I was making minor tweaks every single day. So when I got to nationals, it was a very mixed bag. My putting was not feeling good at all. I even switched to doing a straddle putt halfway through so I could make more of the smaller 10 to 15 foot putts. But on the other hand, my driving was feeling fantastic. The second round, I hit a personal best at 580 feet. Yeah, it was downhill and with a tailwind, but in a tournament, I was well happy with that. As well as that, I managed to birdie out the last 3 holes of the tournament, and arguably the back 9 is the harder stretch, so that felt amazing. Unfortunately, it wasn't enough to save my tournament, but it wasn't too shabby. So it's been a little bit since then. I'm going to do 100 putts and then some max distance drives and see if I've improved. So short answer, yes. I'm making a lot more putts than I was before, especially in that 10 to 20 foot range where I want to be making most of them. I've gone from a total of 37 to 49, which doesn't seem that crazy, but if we only look at C1 putts, so in my case less than 30 feet, I've gone from 28 out of 50 to 42 out of 50, and that is a dramatic improvement. So backhand distance. Well, whilst I was warming up, I threw this little crush with my hex. Throwing the 39 feet of the mid-range ain't too shabby. And to follow up, I then did another monster crush of a crave. 384 feet with a 6.5 speed, I think is pretty impressive. Annoyingly at this point my camera died, so I came back a bit later to try and break 400. And with my favourite disc, the Grace, I smashed 406 feet, so that is a big improvement from, 380 or so from before I started this. And to top it all off, I hit 419 feet with my drive on a bit of a flex backhand. It was awesome. So I think it's pretty safe to say Power Disc Golf Academy definitely helped. Some great advice, and everything's broken down to the small details, which is what I really wanted. I also did a cheeky forehand, which actually ended up going further than my previous one, so that was good too. So I'm definitely sticking with Power Disc Golf Academy, and maybe my forehand will be sorted out next. So please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.